Good morning, beautiful people. It is Friday, December 27th, 2019.
That's on me. False start.
I am coming to you live from a hotel in Phoenix, Arizona. Probably going to get kicked out of my room if I had to guess because I'm yelling in just a standard room here in Arizona. Little murky, little overcast, obviously out here because of the Cheez-It Bowl happening this evening live at Chase Field. The boys are all back in the studio. I can't see anything on the screen that I'm currently looking at, but we got a lot to talk about today. Marshawn Lynch is back in the NFL. Antonio Brown might be back in the NFL. The college football playoffs, Michael Lombardi's joining us. You name it, the list goes on and on. Let's have a Friday, December 27th. Now, Zito, please play some Chase Rice.
It's the perfect occasion for a little vacation from the heart of the nation. Not your medication, 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
Yes, it is, handsome Chase Rice. I appreciate you for that, brother. You are looking live in my hotel room if you're watching on the internet, listening across the country on Westwood One stations, which I believe we might be adding a crap ton here in the very near future.
Let's go!
That's exciting. The boys are all back in Indianapolis, Indiana, fresh off a great Christmas, I hope, for everybody. Boston Connor is on the casting, chatting couch. He'll be talking to us about the NBA here momentarily. How was the NBA on Christmas, Connor?
I said before we were going to get a bunch load more of NBA, and that's exactly what we got on Christmas. It was unbelievable, Pat.
Everybody said that the NBA disappointed on Christmas. Not you, though. I can't wait to hear why. I assume it's strictly because the Boston Celtics won. Now let's move around the room. Nick Moraldo is back in Indianapolis after a nice trip back to Pittsburgh for Christmas. Frank, how was Christmas with the Moraldos?
It's a beautiful trip, very relaxing. As you know, I adopted a puppy last Friday, brought him home, got to meet the family dogs. Everything went great. It was awesome.
How did that happen? Did you just drug that dog? Like, how did Big Walter survive the drive back to Pittsburgh and the experience with the other dogs, who are also, one of them is a bit of a lunatic as well?
He is. And, I think Big Walt's just a road dog. I think he loves the open road. Because
road dog Jesse James, badass Billy Gunn, the new age Walter.
He was loving it, man. Head out the window, taking naps, chewing on his bone. He was built for the road.
How many times did he pee or poop in your car?
None.
That's good. I got this corgi. It's still Diggs, how was your trip home for Christmas? You didn't go home. You went up to the ladies' place.
Yeah, went up to South Bend. Saw touchdown Jesus. Took that in a little bit. I prayed to him because the bull season has not been going so well so far.
The who season?
The bull season.
Oh, bowl season. I thought you said the Bulls, like the Chicago Bulls.
Bull down.
They're not doing well either.
Bowl season has been kicking everybody's ass from what I heard. Stugatz over there from the Levitar show, I guess, is 0 for 12 on bowl season. He's putting actual money down. Dude might be Uncut Gems very soon.
Yeah, I mean, we're making the right picks. The players are just not the wrong players are trying. The right players are not trying. It's a whole situation.
Hey, I'm a big fan of that Glass quarterback last night punching everybody. The ref can even flop and get some too. I'm a big fan of that operation.
That was wild. I mean, what is the suspension on that for hitting a ref?
I just want to let you know that ref, such a good sell. Such a good sell by that ref. He barely got touched. He flopped the whole thing. I can respect that because he wears the pinstripes. I mean, that could be a tough job to begin with, but now you got – that guy's a quarterback. We landed in Arizona. Okay, we landed in Arizona, Fox, and I. We had a layover in Dallas. Yesterday, we might have traveled for 45 hours. I mean, it was a long time. We land in the desert out here. Windy. We're coming in sideways, okay? We're just starting to get some credit or some, not credit, service on the cell phone. And that's the first video I see as we're landing. I'm like, oh my God, look at this linebacker just slapping the hell out of everybody. And then I get off the plane, I go to the bathroom, that was the quarterback just slapping folks. Quarterback can't just be out there slapping fools, including the ref. That can't happen.
That's Maction. That's what happens in the MAC. That's what you expect from the MAC, and that's what you get from the MAC.
I agree. Pitt almost lost that thing. If it wasn't for that guy slapping everybody around, they'd probably come back and win that thing. Pitt Panthers might have lost that. But the bowl season has been hot and running. I'm sorry for your losses, Diggs, but I think everybody's been losing. Let's get to Ty Schmidt. Nobody's losing in the Ty Schmidt household. On Monday night, the Green Bay Packers go into Viking land. Skull.
Yeah, okay.
Skull. So, did you see at the beginning of the game, they do this thing where the guy blows into the big beluga horn? Mm-hmm. It made no sound. I don't know if the guy did it right or not. If you have to pucker the lips or something like that. That guy was blowing to his death, and there was zero sound on Monday night.
Blowing in the wrong end.
Blowing in the wrong side. That's what you can't do that.
Can't do that.
Can't do that. But anyways, so the whole game happens. The Packers now outright NFC North champs with a chance of being the number 1 seed. Tie, as an owner of the Packers, as a lifelong fan of the Packers, that has to feel damn good.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I've been somewhat negative about them all year because, like we've said, they win ugly, but at some point, maybe winning ugly is just how you're built. I think they're starting to peak at the right time. I really like the Packers' odds going into the playoffs here. I really do.
I said this the year we won 2-14. I talk about it a lot because it's really my only time experiencing a god-awful football team since our high school football team that Diggs was on.
Whoa.
The team was terrible. I mean, the last game was like 50-0 or something like that. I didn't even get on the field except for one kickoff. We didn't even cross half field. I mean, there was nothing.
Tough.
It was tough. It was tough sledding for the Plum Mustangs. Other teams just seemed to have bigger, faster, stronger people than we did, and there was really nothing old Diggsy could do, even though Diggsy gave his best effort and became a D1 athlete. But that 2-14 year, I learned a lot about the NFL and its parity. There was 8 games that were one-score games that we could have won. We could have been 10-6, and we were a god-awful football team. So anytime you hear people talk about how teams aren't winning pretty and they're not winning by enough, the other people are on scholarship too. I mean, there's people getting paid a lot of money on the other side just because they haven't been able to put things together for whatever reason. Good teams win. Great teams blow people out, I guess is what they say, or win or cover is what they say. But for me, winning ugly, winning at all is all that matters. I don't think anybody should care about anything else. Now, in the playoffs, whenever you're playing against a team that seems to be very pretty playing, like the New Orleans Saints, who are potentially adding another weapon, will that be an issue? Not if you bring them down to your ugliness. What if it's just a dogfight every single game? That's what the Packers are built for. Maybe that's what their defense, who thrives off of turnovers, is all about. Maybe the Smith brothers are starting to get hot off the edge. Maybe the Packers are the team in the NFC that everybody needs to be scared about.
Well, and like we said, if all roads lead through Lambeau going to the Super Bowl, and that's still in play, then guess what? We're in just a great position.
How's that happen, Ty?
So yeah, if the Packers win this Sunday and the Seahawks beat the Niners, the Packers have the 1 seed.
And that Seahawks-Niners game is in Seattle. Not that it matters because the Seattle Seahawks have been losing at home this year at a rapid rate anyways. But if the Seattle Seahawks beat the Niners and the Packers beat who?
The Packers have to beat the Lions.
Well, I mean, Foxy couldn't hear what that is, but if the Packers beat the Lions and the Seahawks beat the Niners, all roads in the NFC lead through Lambeau. A lot of different teams when you have to go through the frozen tundra. And Josh Sitton last week told us that Aaron Rodgers' hands are ham hocks, and that's why he likes spinning it in cold-ass Lambeau, because he can do that, all right? I'm happy for that. We'll talk more about that. Let's get to Zito. Zito, how was Chicago for Christmas, pal? Did you go get another $1 billion from your parents?
I did not, but it was nice to hold my nephew. It was good. He had a disease, but I wore gloves the whole time.
What?
That's all I got so far. Back to you, Pat.
Is this a real disease, or is this like something that just all babies have?
He was just getting over, I guess it's called foot, hand, mouth. He got it at his daycare.
Hand, foot, and mouth.
Yeah, I think I'm suing them. I'm suing all those guys, those daycare.
I don't think as an uncle you can sue anybody for unless you have. What's that?
Oh, I'm going to.
Attaboy, Zito. Bring the house down. Make sure you get foot, hand, mouth disease completely cured.
I don't even know what it means.
Shout out to your little nephew, man. And also, me and Zito had to give away $50,000. We ended up giving away $54,700.
Wow.
Hey.
Let's go.
Zito, did we have any? We knew it was going to be a long day. We knew it was going to be long. Would we have signed up for that if we knew how long it was going to take? The answer is yes, because of how awesome and fulfilling it felt. But boy, we undershot how long that thing would take.
I never knew giving away $50,000 would take that long.
Dude, it was all day. Me and Zito were texting with each other. At one point, I sent Zito a text. I was like, hey, you know what, man? Just hang out for the next couple hours. We'll get back to this. It was like we were building a pyramid.
Our backs were hurting. Our fingers were hurting.
Bro, Sam was so mad. She was like, oh, it's Christmas. You have the day off. We're going to have a good time. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Let's have a good time. Let's watch a movie. And then all of a sudden, I look at the account still. I'm like, we still got to give away $22,000. By the way, at about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon on Christmas, one YouTube commenter almost got just $15,000 just to get it over.
I was surprised because I saw the amounts were like anywhere from like 100 to 1,000, and from what I saw from people on the internet taking pictures, I was surprised when I heard that how long it was taking that there wasn't just a $15,000 one slipped in there.
It was close, Diggs. It was this close, but I still had a lot of people complaining that they didn't get any. $54,000, 700. I can't wait to make that an annual Christmas tradition. Big thanks to Cash App for letting that happen. Zito, thanks for the help there. It was a beautiful thing. Jason McAfee, how are you doing, bub?
I'm good.
Attaboy.
Hey, there you go,
Happy
Jay.
birthday, Jay.
Hey, let's go, Jay.
Happy birthday, Jay.
Hey, thanks.
Back on the phones, 1-833-622-3331. Not 100% sure they're going to work. Todd McCombs, how was the Christmas, Todd?
That was good. We did traditional Christmas. We went to Japanese hibachi, drank Sapporos and sake, the way Jesus wanted it.
Hey, wait, I saw somebody in our, Phil. Phil did all the fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what that is? He does 8 fish. Everyone has to cook a fish.
7.
I don't know. That's not what I heard.
Well, you're wrong. It's one for each day of the week, I believe, if I'm 100% right.
Oh, that makes sense.
Maybe 2 on Sunday for Jesus, 1 for Jesus too.
Oh, maybe Zito was right. I don't know. I didn't know Phil was that religious, by the way. I had no idea that was happening.
Fake Italian.
Is that a thing with fish?
Yeah, 7 fish
Christmas?
is an Italian Christmas. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, us Irish folks, we don't know it. Just give us the ham, give us the mini corn dogs, and give us the Santa Claus and Grinch on repeat all damn day.
So is that why they do the bumper sticker, a fish?
I believe that's for Jesus. I don't think it's just the Italians. I think all of the Jesus
Catholics,
people do that.
Christians, yep.
Yeah,
Because he turned water into wine, and then in that wine, the fish
fishes.
swam right to your soul to save you because God just sent his only son to die for you.
Correct.
Yep, that's it.
Well
Nailed
said.
it.
For each.
There it is.
All right, let's get to a break. We got Michael Lombardi on the other side. I'm pretty pumped up about that. I can't wait to chat with him about Marshawn Lynch and Antonio Brown. The thought of Marshawn Lynch was serving tequila just a week and a half ago at an Oakland Raiders tailgate. Now he is a member of the Seattle Seahawks and potentially going to play this weekend. It is exciting, exhilarating, and I can't wait to see what happens. Antonio Brown allegedly was working out for the Saints. Are they signing him just to keep him from some other team, just to keep him off of some other roster, or do they really want him to get in there? If Sean Payton's little magic mind starts drawing up plays for Michael Thomas and Antonio Brown, is Drew Brees going to end up with another 40,000 yards just in the playoffs? We'll ask Michael Lombardi about that on the other side. And did you know that this time of year is the number one time to get engaged? We know that at the office. Everybody is engaged. So if you're in love and ready to get engaged, go see our friend Steven Singer, the I Hate Steven Singer guy. You've heard me talk about him for weeks and may have seen his billboards if you're in Philadelphia. I hate Steven Singer. Other jewelers love to hate Steven because Steven makes buying a diamond so easy. There's no negotiating, no haggling, no nonsense, and no BS. Just one perfect price every day, and he has the best quality, best diamonds anywhere. Check out Steven's Ready for Love diamond engagement ring collection that is ready to go. Each diamond is hand-selected and picked by his real expert jewelers. No one selling online or anywhere else for that matter does it better than Steven Singer Jewelers. He takes no risk shopping to the next level with his full 100-day, 100% money-back guarantee, and it's fast and free shipping both ways. Whether your budget is $500 or $5,000, Steven has the perfect engagement ring for you at the perfect price. Visit the real Steven Singer at the other corner of 8th and Walnut in Philadelphia or online at IHateStevenSinger.com with free shipping. Real diamonds, real experts, real jewelers. Steven Singer Jewelers. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Michael Lombardi's back on the other side to talk about what we should expect from Marshawn Lynch. Is Antonio Brown going to be back in the NFL again? And who's going to win these marquee matchups for this weekend with a lot on the line? You're listening to The Pat McAfee Show.
Ten years ago, I had an undiagnosed heart condition, and erectile dysfunction was actually the first sign that something was wrong.
Luckily, I'm a doctor, an expert in sexual health, and Zach's dad.
Not everyone has a doctor in the house, and some health conditions can be really tough to talk about. We started Roman to change that.
Now you can go online and chat with a physician.
And if treatment is right for you, we'll ship genuine medication right to your door. If you're experiencing ED, hair loss, cold sores, or other issues, let's take care of it.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. There we go. Thought the music cut out over here. I was having a good time. I was vibing. Shout out to whoever made that song at DJ Nick Marotta. Who was that?
That was Ray Flex.
Ray Flex. All right, so we're staying in a hotel that's right by the airport over here. And there's a lot of low-flying planes, I'm going to be honest. And maybe I'm soft, but every time one of these Southwest planes fly by me, I just think everybody on there is drunk, and they're flying way too close to this building. But welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. I am sitting in a hotel in Phoenix, Arizona, on the way to Tacoma, Philadelphia, Atlanta, L.A. Northern California, where the girls are warm, just so I can hear my sweet baby say, keep on rocking me, baby. There's no way I did that right. Joining us now is a man who was a general manager in the NFL, a man who has been around. He's an author. He's a podcast host, the GM Shuffle. You can listen to him on VSiN, a gambling radio station. Ladies and gentlemen, friend of the show, Michael Lombardi.
Happy holidays, Pat. Merry Christmas. You're the man that you are truly Santa Claus. You've been giving out things left and right. You are just a generous soul.
I'll tell you what, Mr. Lombardi, you've been giving out things left and right on this show as well. I don't know what your record is, but it's very good, and I can't wait to hear your locks for this weekend. I appreciate you taking the time to join us here on this December 27th. There's been a couple news here in the last couple days that I want to get your take on. Marshawn Lynch was serving shots of tequila just a week and a half ago at an Oakland Raiders tailgate. Now he's a member of the Seattle Seahawks. What should we expect from Marshawn Lynch this weekend? Is he going to be anywhere near game shape? Are they going to put him in the game? Is he going to get some plays? That guy is a game wrecker if he's anywhere near condition and cardio. What do you think people should expect from Marshawn Lynch?
A lot of throwing up. I would suspect a lot of heaving. I think a lot of throwing up initially. But look, I mean, you know, he's a tough guy. My son played high school football against Oakland Tech, and Marshawn Lynch ran then like he runs when he was up in Seattle in high school. He was remarkable. I think, look, you know, 10 carries at the most. They've got to be able to run the football, keep Russell Wilson from getting killed like he did last week. Chandler Jones was dynamic. They need Robert Turbin to run the football, too. They have not played well at home, Seattle, which is surprising. So I think you'll get a little bit of Marshawn Lynch. I think Philly will see more of him the next week.
Okay, so this is kind of, let's see how much he's got in the tank. How much can somebody get? Now, for me personally, you gave me 2 weeks. I wouldn't be able to get from my front door to my bed. Is there any way to get Marshawn Lynch in shape if he's not already in shape? And I said this about Colin Kaepernick in his workout. If Colin Kaepernick was able to get through that workout that the NFL was going to put together for him in a cardiovascular fashion, we should give him a lot more credit for how hard he's been pushing himself while working out alone. Marshawn Lynch, if he's been working out hard enough to be in game shape, NFL game shape, I think that takes his career to a whole nother level. First ballot Hall of Famer for sure. Is there anything that can happen in the next week or two that can get Marshawn into a real role that they could have? Or is it just going to be something where he's going to get a couple carries, let Robert Turbin do a lot of the work?
I think Turbin does the work, but I think when you break down playoff games, Pat, I think the most important thing in playoff games is to convert 3rd and 1s. 3rd, 1s, and 2s. That's really where playoff games get decided. And the teams that can execute on 3rd and short or goal line the offense are the teams that usually benefit in games. So it'll happen in the Final Four. It'll happen this weekend in Oklahoma, LSU. The 3rd and short matter in games. I think with Marshawn Lynch, he can do that. He can get those 3rd and 2s with his power and his unique late drive. Then I think Seattle a little bit of advantage.
Okay, so let's talk about Antonio Brown. There's been reports now this morning that he is working out for the New Orleans Saints. Sean Payton is a man who can draw up a lot of plays. He's a guy who can make people absolute weapons. Michael Thomas has already broken Marvin Harrison's record. He's a guy who makes his offense an absolutely dynamic one no matter what. The last 2 years now, the Minneapolis Miracle and then the phantom pass interference call that didn't happen. Everybody's saying, oh, are the Saints desperate for a Super Bowl? I think every team that makes it to the playoffs are desperate for a Super Bowl. But I think this could potentially be a signing or a workout just to see if he ends up on another team or to keep him from signing on another team, and that's Antonio Brown is who I'm talking about.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I think the league office can't prevent anybody from working out. However, if he does sign a contract, either he signs it today or say he signs it on Monday. If he signs it on Monday, the Saints don't have to pay him a nickel. He gets all his money from playoff money. But if they sign him today, they'd have to work out a contract where he would get paid a game check. I think the league office, once he signs a contract, then steps in and says, hey, he's on the exempt list because we're still going through the investigation. I think it's interesting. I thought Seattle did due diligence on Antonio Brown when Josh Gordon got suspended. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I think Sean Payton knows he can handle him. Look, when you talk to anybody about Antonio Brown's time in New England, they like the player. he was respectful up there because he respected the coach, he respected the quarterback. I think it's the same thing in New Orleans. If he goes there, I think they'll be able to handle him.
What about this rap video and all the other stuff around it? Do you think that Sean Payton and the Saints are they have enough of a culture already built that he can go in there and they can handle it? Or do you think there's a chance that Antonio Brown has to get right mentally before he can join an NFL team again?
I think the fact that Breeze and Peyton can handle him. I think he respects knowledge, and I think he respects intelligence. One thing about Antonio Brown, you can't lie to him. If you lie to him, it's all over. Like most players, you lie to a player, it's over. You lose your credibility immediately. And I think they bring him in there and they say, look, we're chasing the Super Bowl. You can help us. This shifts. If he gets to play, let's make no mistake about this, he shifts the balance of power right to New Orleans because he makes Michael Thomas, as great as he is, even better. He makes Jared Cook, as good as he's played the last 3 weeks, even better. He makes Drew Brees sensational. So it's going to be interesting to see what the league office decides to do here.
I'm very intrigued by it. Everybody said that if he gets signed to a team that the league would have to expedite its entire studies and all that, investigations, and see how it goes. I'm intrigued by the move. Honestly, I'm very intrigued by the move because the Saints are a team that could go and get it this year. The NFC, though, is wide open. If the Seahawks get a win over the Niners and the Packers can somehow beat the Detroit Lions, the Packers all of a sudden have home field advantage through the playoffs, which is paramount. How do you see the NFC working out this weekend, Mr. Lombardi?
I think this. I think Philadelphia. I like Philly. I like Philly to beat the Giants, obviously. I think 4.5. I think the line's a little light here. I think Philly will be able to cover that line. I think Philly's played really well the last couple of weeks. I know the Giants played well last week, but that was the Redskins' defense. They decided they didn't feel like tackling was important, so they refused to tackle Saquon Barkley and all the others. So I like the Eagles here. I really do. I think the NFC is one of these divisions where any team can win it, Philadelphia included, and any team can get knocked off in the first round. I think the teams that have the bye to have to play just one less game will certainly have the biggest advantage. So I like this weekend. I like the Eagles to win. I like the Bears against the Vikings because I don't think the Vikings have anything to play for in that game. I'll go with MVP Mitch to have a great game in that one.
Okay, so you like the Bears, you like the Eagles. You think the Cowboys are going to get a win over that Redskins team, or do you think this is going to go under the John and Jason Garrett's going to get fired the next day with a nasty taste in all of Cowboys Nation's mouth?
I think Dak Prescott's not healthy. I think if you watch that Eagle tape, you can see he wasn't healthy. You know that they gave him medication before the game to get his arm not to feel much. Then they reestablished it at halftime, and each time he had to come out, he didn't have a feel for the football. And a guy bet $400,000 this past week on the Cowboys at the Borgata in Atlantic City where I do my show, and I tried to talk him out of it because I didn't think Dak was healthy. I think Dak's not healthy, and I think that could favor the Redskins, especially with Case Keenum, where they'll be able to run their whole offense and do things that they want to do. So I think it's a hard game. I think Jason Garrett is going to get fired at the end of the year, and I think things are going to change in Dallas.
Who's next down there, Mr. Lombardi?
That's a good call. I think they'll be interested in Josh McDaniels from the Patriots. I think they want somebody to fix their offense. The problem is you're going to be prepared to coach to have to accept some of the coaches that Jerry has on the staff. So I'm not sure everybody wants to do that. I don't think it'll be Urban Meyer. I don't think it'll be Matt Rule, your boy Matt Rule. I think Matt Rule's in play in a lot of teams that are interested in him because he's brought such an incredible turnaround to that Baylor program. I think it'll be more of a Kevin Stefanski. I think it's going to be one of those guys from the Gary Kubiak tree. It's funny, Pat, when you break down the playoff teams, it's either the playoff teams, they either come from Pete Carroll, Mike Shanahan, Bill Parcells, or Bill Belichick. That's it, and Andy Reid. Those five coaches, all the playoff teams will come from them.
Yeah, I mean, you just rattled off five different... they're coming from the NFL.
They're coming from the pipeline of those coaches. I mean, Sean Payton's a Bill Parcells guy. Mike Zimmer's a Bill Parcells. See what I'm saying? I mean, that's where I was going. I didn't explain it correctly. I apologize. But that's kind of where
no worries at all. Okay, so if you think Josh McDaniels potentially goes to the Dallas Cowboys, does that mean Tom Brady's going with him? Is Tom Brady going to be the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys next year, Lombardi? Say it.
I don't think so. No, I don't. But I do think there's a lot of uncertainty in New England. I think they like Jarrett Stidham as a young prospect. Do I think Tom goes somewhere else? I think right now, no. I would say probably not, because I think Tom might want to think he wants to go somewhere else, but then in reality, you really want to try to put on a different uniform. Like I've said before, Johnny Unitas looked bad in a Charger uniform. Joe Namath looked bad in a Ram uniform. And frankly, Brett Favre looked bad in a Jet uniform.
Yeah, but Peyton is only shown in a Bronco uniform now.
Yeah, and he won there. Which was kind of surprising. And that the last year it didn't look like he was going to win it. Remember? It didn't look like it.
All right, so Bears, Eagles. Do you have any other locks for this weekend that we can hammer on FanDuel?
I love Tennessee. I love Tennessee this week. I think Tennessee deserves to be a playoff team. I think they'll play well. I think Houston has nothing to play for. I think if Bill O'Brien, I think he's going to rest some of his defensive players. I think Tennessee is a really good lock to play there. I like them a lot. I think that you could get somewhere out of them. I think as a bettor this week, you've got to make sure you handicap what team's playing hard and what team's not. Is Pittsburgh going to play hard this week? Yes. Will Baltimore play hard? Probably not. I like Pittsburgh.
Okay, all right, there we go. So what you're saying is, I believe that the Titans are getting in the 6th wild card spot, in the 6th seed as the 2nd wild card spot, good for them. You think the Texans are not going to play? Hey, J.J. Watt might be coming back for the playoffs. Is this ironic to you? Do you think he's going to be worth it, Dan? This is amazing to me to think about.
Yeah, I think it'll be, for me, if he was coming back, then I would basically I would say, look, the number one thing you're going to do is rush the passer on passing downs. Whenever we can get you out to rush the passer, that's what we're going to do, and I think that's what they should do with them. Forget about playing the run. Forget about playing all the downs. Let's just make sure you play the right downs that we need you on.
Hey, are the Seahawks worth a damn? The Cardinals beat the hell out of them last week. Should anybody take them serious in the playoffs?
Whenever you think you count I would never count Russell Wilson out. I never would. I just think, to me, they might be sneaky. I don't want to bet it. I don't think they can beat the Niners. But, look, the Niners haven't been very good lately either. There's just something about Seattle. They haven't played well at home. And there's something about Russell Wilson when it doesn't seem like he can do it, all of a sudden he finds a way to do it. So I wouldn't count him out.
You're the same type of guy. Whenever you can't get any better, somehow you do it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us, Michael Lombardi. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you so much, Pat. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Hey, Merry New Year to you as well, Mr. Lombardi. I appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
No problem. So he likes the Bears, the Eagles, the Steelers. That's got to feel pretty good for you over there, Diggs.
Yeah, and he was talking about teams that are trying versus teams that aren't trying. So there's 10 games this weekend where there'll be teams that are trying versus teams that aren't trying. If you do a money line parlay with those 10 teams, it's plus 3,000, which I already did. So something to think
Run
about.
through those real quick.
So the Packers will try against the Lions. The Chiefs will try against the Chargers. The Patriots will try against the Dolphins. The Saints will try against the Panthers. The Eagles will try against the Giants. The Cowboys will try against the Redskins. The Titans will try against the Texans, even though Bill O'Brien says the Texans are going to try, but they have nothing to play for. Steelers will try against the Ravens. The Raiders will try against the Broncos. And then the 49ers and Seahawks, if you pick the winner of that one correctly, there's your 10-team money line parlay for plus 3,000.
Pretty excited about that. Thanks to Diggs for handing out free money. Same with Mr. Lombardi. We got to get to another break. We'll be back on the other side with more chitter chatter. Also, some NBA talk, some notable news, some Flashback Friday, and people are asking. Massive first hour still to come. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show.
At some point in their life, 52% of all men will experience erectile dysfunction, but most of them never get treated. Now there's Roman, the digital health clinic for men. With Roman, you can get genuine medication prescribed by a U.S. licensed physician, all from the comfort of your home. If medication is right for you, Roman delivers it with free 2-day shipping and in discreet packaging. Get started with a free online visit today at GetRoman.com/TV. Roman, let's take care of it.
Hello, it is Friday, December 27, 2019. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. Just had a great conversation with Michael Lombardi. He says he likes the Eagles, the Bears, the Steelers, and a couple other teams that are trying versus not trying this weekend. A lot on the line in the NFL. Speaking of a lot on the line, we have some breaking news. Zito.
Does anyone have the soundbite? Oh. Starting in 2020, the pub where me, myself, Connor, and Evan live, we cannot renew our lease.
Pub is dead.
Dead. For those of you that are new to the show, Evan Fox, Zito, and Connor live in the only house in Indianapolis that should be quarantined.
Oh, come on.
Sanctioned as unlivable. It's a disgusting hellhole of a house that they live in. They called it the pub just to make themselves feel a little bit better. The floors tilt as if you're rotting down the side of a mountain. I mean, it's just a disgusting, despicable place. And now they haven't told the landlord that he should no longer be a landlord. The landlord has told them that they can no longer live in this rat-infested hellhole. And for me, that is something that will make my 2020 even better, knowing that you guys are no longer living in this death trap of a hellhole, the pub.
I mean, if you thought it was disgusting before, now that they give us this notice, all bets are off. I mean, that place is going to be a dump for the next 2 months.
So what happened? You guys are just not allowed to renew your lease? Is that what they said?
Yeah, basically they just sent us an email 2 months before we have to basically renew, and they just go, by the way, you cannot renew at all. Think about a new place right now.
It's that guy that lives next door that tried to kill himself. It says it was Connor's fault. That's why he shot himself. I mean, this is... You guys got Walter White cooking meth next door with his family, and you guys aren't allowed to live in that hellhole. They're either tearing that place down because it was condemned, or they're hoping that somebody much more professional will live in there. Either way, congratulations to the pub for becoming maybe a not-so-despicable place by kicking 3 vagrants out of there.
I don't know what that means, but thank you.
Means you're terrible. Let's go to one of the members of the pub currently, a man who is a founder of the pub and excited about it, to talk about the NBA, which has officially started, by the way.
Yep.
Congratulations to the NBA season officially starting because Christmas has happened. Boston, Connor, what happened on Christmas to the NBA? What should people be looking forward to? This is our 5th attempt at NBA talk. I hope this one goes better than the last 4.
Definitely won't, Pat. But with that being said, the Boston Celtics are one of the best teams in the NBA. That is not biased. That is just based on Christmas Day and the NBA beginning. Another team, the Milwaukee Bucks, not looking great against the 76ers, which is great for everyone in the East, though. Level playing field. Celtics, Bucks, Sixers, those are probably your top 3. But in the West, that's where the business is really getting going. Clippers, Lakers, and... don't look now, the Warriors, who just beat the Rockets on Christmas Day out of nowhere. They're coming alive. But Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, they've established themselves as the king of L.A. They've taken down LeBron. They've taken down Anthony Davis. And now we're looking at a Clippers-Lakers still in the West and a Sixers-Celtics possible in the East. It's looking good.
Okay, so a lot of things were just said there that we have to talk about. For those that don't know, Kawhi Leonard, formerly of the Toronto Raptors and San Antonio Spurs, signed a massive deal with the Clippers. It was alleged that he was asking for a private plane, percentage of the team, and everything along those lines. Who cares, says the Clippers ownership, I'd assume, as long as you keep winning, which is what they've been doing. He and Paul George have become quite a little duo there for the Los Angeles Clippers. They played the Lakers on Christmas as they did on opening day. They beat them on opening night. Now they beat them on Christmas in front of the world watching with Kevin Hart sitting courtside. Why do the Clippers seem to have the Lakers number? I've heard that Kawhi Leonard is a guy that can just shut LeBron down anytime he wants to. And is Kawhi Leonard the best basketball player on planet Earth?
I'd say so just because he can just take over a game. Like in the fourth quarter, I think he's 4th in scoring with 9 points in the 4th. But also the Clippers are just deeper than the Lakers. The Lakers have the starting 5, the fancy starting 5 with AD and LeBron, but they don't have anyone after that. With the Clippers, they have Lou Will, Montrezl Harrell coming off the bench. They have actual depth that'll carry them in the tournament to come.
Take your insane Celtic bias out of this. What does the NBA Finals look like it's going to be?
Bucks Clippers. Taking the insane Celtics bias out, although If we do add a big man a la Kevin Love, maybe Steven Adams, then I think we have a much more legitimate shot. But right now, it's got to be Giannis and the Bucks versus the Clippers, solely because the Bucks are a deep team. They have the best player in Giannis. And then same with the Clippers. They're a deep team, and Kawhi Leonard can take over any game.
So Giannis is the best player in the game. I thought Kawhi Leonard was the best player.
Well, I would say Giannis is the most dominant just because of his skill set. He can shoot the ball outside. He can, he can drive and take down Embiid down low. Kawhi is the most I want to say dominant. I want to say it again, but Kawhi can just take over a game in a way that no one else can. Just
I appreciate that. Is his name Giannis or Giannis?
I'm going to say it both ways forever, so I'll never know.
I believe it's Giannis, though.
I got people tweeting me every time we talk about this, like, learn how to say his name. It's like, I've tried. I have no idea what it is.
Apparently the G is silent, but like Zito has said, I've heard it both ways. Giannis.
Pat,
Jaundice.
Pat, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
The New Orleans Pelicans are trying to teach Zion Williamson a different way to walk and a different way to run, so he's not gonna. You can't do that. That's not physically. That's not possible.
Bro, hey, I don't know if that's his problem, how he walks. I don't know if how he walks is really the problem with that guy's knee. I have been a Zion Williamson fan since day one. Like maybe 2 decades ago when he started popping off on MySpace, jumping over little white dudes and dunking at like the age of 7 or 8. I love this Zion guy. And then we see him at Duke. They can't get the job done because Coach Krzyzewski's best coaching days are behind him. But we saw him dominate at Duke. Then he goes #1 to the Pelicans. I'm excited. I'm pumped. I'm like, hey, this guy is going to be able to figure out. He's a freak athlete. He's bigger than your biggest person. He can jump higher than anybody else on earth. He's explosive. He's got this great personality. He's radiant. He's not selfish. He's had the eyes on him since he was a child, and he's been able to handle it perfectly. Now, we're at the point where it looks like this sumbitch ain't never going to play again. They're trying to teach him how to walk and run differently. That is not good. I think what they should do, and this is not a body shame, okay? I'm somebody who's very fat right now, okay? Everything that I saw the last, month and a half has been down the gullet. Okay, Zito and I are starting accountability buddies in 2020, where for each day that we accurately do our Fit Fam routine, we're going to give $500 to a Cash App giveaway once we inevitably fall off the cliff and get back off the wagon. But with Zion, I think they just have to get him to lose some weight, lighten up on those knees. I don't know if walking and running and teaching a person how to walk and run at the age of 19 is the right move. And be honest, as a big fan of Zion, this is not good for me. I don't like the thought that he's probably not coming back to play basketball when the sub-bitch can't even walk or run anymore.
The thing that makes Zion great is how he walks and how he runs and how he jumps like nobody else, and they're trying to change that. You can't do that. I mean, imagine. I'd like to see how the Pelicans thought, well, this is how you're walking now, and this is how we want you to walk. I'd like a diagram on what.
This is a team that thought their name should be the Pelicans. Let's assume that they're not great at making good decisions. Although they drafted Zion #1, which is a good decision. They traded away Anthony Davis after pissing him off, and now they're trying to change a guy's walking and running at 19. I mean, this is just I feel bad. I'm sure they're a good group of humans down there, and they got good fans, but let's not be changing how somebody walks and runs. That's the biggest NBA news, by the way, and Connor just misses it completely.
No, I mean, that's what we were going to close with. The Pelicans at the last game.
That's my fault.
Oh, that was a setup to Diggs, or you were going to do that?
It was a setup to Diggs. I was throwing it to Tony. Tony wanted to talk about it. I knew he did. He wouldn't stop talking about it this morning. You should have heard him.
I also couldn't stop talking about LeBron, seeing AD and Kevin Hart have fun and having to run over and sit on his lap.
LeBron got buried for that. LeBron, and by the way, when Kevin Hart posted about it on his Instagram, he cut LeBron James out of it, which is big news. Everybody goes after Bron for that because he's trying to make it about himself. What if he's actually friends with Kevin Hart and Anthony Davis is a teammate of his, and he just wants to, he just wants to have fun, like a bunch of kids, just wants to have a good time out there.
I mean, I think they are friends. I think Kevin Hart was on the barbershop?
He was on the shop, but it's just
shop.
why don't you just let AD do it? AD's clearly in there. It's having a good time. Just let him have the moment.
No, it's LeBron City. Yeah. What he says goes. If he wants to go sit on Kevin Hart's lap, he's going to go sit on his lap.
It's Kawhi City, from what I've been told.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
From what I've been told.
New king in town.
Hey, I saw Hobbs and Shaw on the plane last night. Kevin Hart makes a hilarious cameo.
He does. What did you think? A little long?
The flight was perfect timing for the flight because the flight was forever. So I actually enjoyed it. That's my first Fast and Furious experience, if that was a Fast and Furious experience.
Wow.
I liked it a lot. I'm a big fan.
I mean, tough to beat The Rock. You know, just I mean, that guy just oozes machismo. Just tough to beat.
Usos!
How'd you like Roman Reigns?
What's that?
How'd you like Roman Reigns?
Not a lot of Roman Reigns in there. They were selling that Roman Reigns as a big part of that movie. I thought he did very well in that movie. And also at the end scene, he's the only one that fixes his hair when everybody else is standing completely still, which I was kind of intrigued by. I like the Roman stole the scene there at the last shot, but I thought there'd be more Roman Reigns. I enjoyed the movie, though. I liked the movie. Also got a chance to see Uncut Gems. Shout out to Uncut Gems for letting us go and see that before it got released.
Great film.
I had no idea that people actually live like that. And now that I know that humans actually live like that, very intrigued on how I'm going to watch a couple of my friends who I think have that same disorder that old Arthur had, or whatever his name was, Harold Arthur, whatever it was.
Howie.
Howard, yeah. I would watch that movie, by the way. I think people should go watch that movie.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of cameos, a lot of that. I mean, there's just a couple times there where I'm like, why is he doing that? Why? You know, I think that was it was one of those ones where your heart is wrenching the entire time for this poor guy. I mean, let alone the Weeknd. Can never listen to another Weeknd song.
No.
Yeah.
But my heart was just wrenching for the guy. But then there would be a lot of moments of clarity where I was holding my nachos or my popcorn. I'd be like, why the hell is he doing that? And then he would throw himself back into a situation. I'm like, here we go again. But I appreciated the people from Uncut Gems letting us watch it.
Can we talk about the Oscar nomination for Mr. Francesa?
Hey, Francesa kills it.
Oh.
Everybody's talking about Adam Sandler getting an Oscar nod, and I appreciate that because Adam Sandler crushes every role, and this is a very different role than normal, although there are some hilarious parts. I mean, let's not get crazy. Adam Sandler's still Adam Sandler, but Francesa deserves an Oscar nod, at least maybe a Grammy nod for how good he was in there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, the guy's incredible. He should get a lifetime award at the Oscars.
I agree. Francesa deserves every single award. Let's get to some notable news. You heard me. Let's get to some notable news here before this hour ends. Nick, what did we miss?
This week, 100 years ago, in the year 1919, the Boston Red Sox released legendary Babe Ruth to the New York Yankees.
Don't bring
They
this
sold
up.
the team's rights to Babe Ruth to the Yankees for $125,000, which is in today's currency about $100 million.
Holy hell. Good for old Babe. I read up on this a little bit. They said he was the most selfish and insufferable human they'd ever been around.
You bet. He was good, though.
Could pound some
Hit the
homers.
hell out of a baseball.
Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker Ryan Shazier is among one of the celebrities being targeted for the 29th season of ABC's Dancing with the Stars.
Let's go. He's going to go win that thing, too. We love Shazier. Ty got a chance to lose a couple $1,000 playing blackjack with Shazier.
Yeah, he also bought me a cigar. I got to ride in his, I think it was like an Aston Martin, maybe.
Oh, yeah,
it was a
nice.
fun night. He's a great guy.
Great guy. I hope he'll go win Dancing with the Stars. I'm happy for him.
Lindsey Vonn proposed to fiance PK Subban.
Whoa. Not allowed to talk about her personal life.
Yeah, you're right. Come on, you're right. Good call.
I mean, she's putting it out
how
there.
everybody, all these TMZ tabloids and news stations are getting away with this. We had an interview allegedly set up with Lindsey Vonn. We were told 20 minutes before the interview, we are not allowed to talk anything about her personal life. It's like, well, what the hell are we going to talk about, Lindsey? What are we going to talk about? I can only talk about skiing for so much, Lindsey. Yeah, you're very good at skiing. But now all these people are talking about her personal life. I can't believe her publicist is letting this happen.
Absurd. It's outrageous.
A direct
It
quote,
is outrageous.
A direct quote from her. We talk about equality, but actions speak louder than words. Men should get engagement rings too, and this is what PK deserves.
It's true.
Wow.
I agree.
Forward.
I got a screenshot of this from Sam just yesterday, by the way.
You getting a ring?
I think there's potentially going to be one just showing up, an engagement ring.
Come on.
Fox, you just told me you have 1 minute left. Anything left?
Yeah, there's one little note here at the bottom. Pat McAfee states he will probably not be doing the sideline reporting for the XFL.
I ain't never had a worse time than that damn Boca Bowl. Never in my life have I had a worse time than that. That was a nightmare. My God. Anyways, first hour here is coming to an end. I have to look directly to my right to get a good clock, so that's good for internet television here. We got a chance to chat with Lombardi. We talked Marshawn Lynch. We talked Antonio Brown. We did some notable news. Second hour is probably going to be better. We'll try some phones, too, in the second hour, see if it works. 1-833-622-3331. We can't thank you enough for listening. This is December 27th, 2019, the Pat McAfee Show. We'll be back on the other side.
Did you know over 60% of men experience significant hair loss by age 35? Some shave it or hide it, but some of us want to treat it. That's why there's Roman, the digital health clinic for men. With Roman, you can get personalized hair loss treatment and unlimited follow-ups from a U.S. licensed physician. If treatment is right for you, Roman delivers it with free 2-day shipping. Get started today with a free online visit at GetRoman.com/TV. Roman, let's take care of it.
vacation, 2 hours of magic, let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
The FaceTime with Pat is currently not working, so you're welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show without Pat McAfee. Which I know is a big shame to all of you. I am Tony Diggs. Pat, we're working on getting Pat back on the FaceTime so the show can be good and not run by me. On the couch, we are joined by Connor Campbell. Nick Baraldo's running the ones and twos. Ty Schmidt, Green Bay Packers owner, is here. We got Zito in the back. Jay's running the ones and twos. And then we have Todd McComas answering phones. We were going to do this with Pat, but I'm going to do this here since it's now currently me running the show.
Tony Diggs Show.
I want to talk about that Ben Roethlisberger couldn't be more back.
Oh, man.
I was going to object to you just kind of dictatorship, just running the show right now, but since you're going to talk about Ben, let's do it.
No, yeah. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about Ben Roethlisberger. Yeah. Couldn't be more back. Earlier in the week, there was a report from Mort Report that Ben Roethlisberger, hey, Pat's back. Thank God.
Hey.
How'd it go there, Diggs? Pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. I introduced the room. I apologize that you weren't here and that everyone was having to hear me talk, and then I was going to go into how Ben Roethlisberger is back, baby.
Diggs, I enjoy hearing you talk. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show, December 27, 2019. Why don't we talk about the Ben Roethlisberger report? This is a pretty big deal because by all accounts, this Pittsburgh Steelers team would be a very hot AFC playoff contender if Ben Roethlisberger was still playing football for them right now. He says he's eager to get back. He looks like a garden gnome right now. Diggs, tell me what you're thinking.
Correct. So if Ben was healthy this whole year with this defense, I mean, the 1 seed would not be out of the question. Let's just put it that way. But earlier in the week, Chris Mortensen reports that Ben Roethlisberger is contemplating whether he's going to be back next year or not. And this is based on my guess is Ben leaked this to Mortensen.
Okay.
Because in classic Ben fashion, just to get his name back in the news. So then later in the week, Mortensen reports is denied by Ben Roethlisberger. Ben tweets that he can't wait to be back. He's never been more back. He's never been more ambitious to get back for a season. So the last time that he threatened to retire was 2017. 2018 had the greatest career that he's ever had. He led the NFL in passing yards and touchdowns. Had a few interceptions, but we're worried that Tommy John is going to be an issue for Ben Roethlisberger. This is a man who has had cracked ribs, torn MCL. Okay, he broke his nose. We know that he's broke his foot. He died in a motorcycle accident, and we think that Thomas John is going to keep Ben Roethlisberger from coming back and going out how he wants. Ben Roethlisberger needs all of the limelight. He needs all the controversy, and if Ben had thrown a wide receiver under the bus this week, he would have been all the way back. He's 3/4 of the way back, and I can't wait for next season.
It sounds like you're pretty excited. And by everything you just said there, I mean, it sounds like you're scientifically accurate, but we have no idea what Tommy John's going to do. Tommy John doesn't hang out in football communities. Tommy John likes to hang around the dugout. Tommy John is a baseball injury, which I'd assumed it's a lot of rehab coming back, right? I mean, Tommy John, Ty, you might know this a little bit better than anybody because you played college baseball, but Tommy John is a massive rehab injury. Is that correct?
Yeah, if a pitcher gets Tommy John, typically he's going to be done for like 8 to 12 months. But a lot of times when those guys do come back, they throw harder. There's more velocity there. My question would be, though, are you more concerned about Tommy John or the fact that Ben weighs 450 pounds right now?
The reason why he has to have Tommy John is because coming into this season, he said he's never thrown more in the offseason. He's never worked harder in the offseason, which screwed him. It screwed him.
He was throwing the ball in the dirt.
We need that was to help the receivers. We need Fat Ben back because Fat Ben, all the fat protects him, protects the muscles.
Fat Ben is back.
Oh, yeah, he's back.
I mean, just a couple weeks ago, I guess he jogged on the field one time, and it was breaking news in Pittsburgh.
As it should be.
Breaking news that Ben Roethlisberger he had no knee issues, no ankle issues, no hip issue. He had Tommy John in his elbow. Him jogging was breaking news in Pittsburgh. Fat Ben is all the way back, Diggs.
Yeah, I think it was breaking news in Pittsburgh, and it wasn't like celebrated that he was jogging. It was a concern. Like, whoa, we don't want him to be too skinny. 'Cause when he's too skinny, bad things happen. I want him to be 400 pounds next year, standing in the pocket, shedding off, tackling dummies. I mean, I can't. I love Duck, but Ben's Ben. He's a Hall of Famer.
The fact that Ben is excited to get back, though, I think says more than anything else. Because, as you mentioned, Ben is a guy that is very okay letting people know he is not happy to come back. Like, he's a guy, they just hired his friend as an offensive coordinator. Now, how is he doing with Duck and Rudolph and everybody? I mean, to each their own in judgment of that case. But Randy Fichtner took that job to be the offensive coordinator for his friend, Ben Roethlisberger, who's an absolute weapon, who can sit in there and just have bodies bounce off him. He can extend plays like no other, and he can throw that thing 70, 75 yards with a flick of the wrist. Now with old Tommy on potentially making him even stronger. Now this is if he's rehabbing accurately, if he's doing everything that he's supposed to do, which let's assume Ben is. He's got nothing else to do except for grow that beard and chill. Mm-hmm. If he comes back even better, even fatter, with this defense still intact, the Steelers could be the future's bet of the year.
So I wanted to run this by you because you weren't on the phone when I was talking about it. Chris Mortensen leaked the report earlier in the week that he wasn't sure that he was coming back, and then Ben tweeted on Christmas that he was. He definitely leaked that to Mort, right? And then just to cause the stir, and then he put out the fire on Christmas.
I mean, Ben Roethlisberger wouldn't be a guy to stir the pot a little bit, would he? I mean, that's not what Ben Roethlisberger does. The thing that I've always said about Ben Roethlisberger is I've gotten a chance to watch Ben from a fan standpoint, as a man who's from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and then as a guy who's stood on the other side of the field while Ben Roethlisberger and the boys hang 60 to 70 points on you. And I've gotten a chance to sit in team meetings and listen to coaches who are NFL coaches who are very talented men in football talk about Ben Roethlisberger. And Ben Roethlisberger, by all accounts on the field, is talked about as one of the greatest of all time. But off the field, he's always had these issues, right? He throws people under the bus. He comes off as snooty. He has these other situations that arise that always keeps him out of that elite conversation. Now, looking like this gnome that he looks like, and his weight that he's put back on, and his shoulder, or his elbow, if he comes back in this hero fashion, in this hero way, which he could potentially do by leaking information saying he's not coming back and then dropping a Christmas present to everybody saying he can't wait to get back. I mean, that'd be a hell of a PR move by Ben Roethlisberger, and I can't help but respect it, especially with all the bad PR that he's had in the past.
I'm just so excited for him to get back next year and return and be joined by Defensive Player of the Year, TJ Watt. It's just going to be an exciting time.
I don't think T.J. Watt wins that thing. Chandler Jones in the city where we're in right now might have 21 sacks after this weekend. That is an insane number for a team that is not known for having a good defense. Like, I think by all accounts, the Arizona Cardinals offense has performed well. I think Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury, they had some things they had to figure out there early in the year, but since then have kind of figured out. The defense just hasn't been able to keep up with the offense. But Chandler Jones, sneaky, quietly, has ranked 19 sacks. That's insane. Those numbers are massive. I'm not sure TJ Watt wins it strictly because of another defensive end having 19 sacks, potentially 21 by the end of the year if he could get two more this weekend against the Los Angeles Rams and Jared Goffel. But Stephon Gilmore's up there as well. But I think it's nice to know if you're a Steeler fan that you got a guy in TJ Watt. He was the last person introduced, by the way, when the defense was introduced. That's a massive sign of respect for him and a sign of things to come.
Chandler Jones, poor Chandler Jones has had sneakiest, one of the best 4-year run for a defensive end in the history, but no one talks about him because he's in Arizona, and that's one of the Bill let him get away, right, Connor?
Yeah, well, it was one of those situations where Chandler Jones is going to get paid a ton of money, and Belichick's just not known to do that, as we know.
Well, and there was a spice issue too, wasn't there?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, he was smoking on something and hallucinating, and he drove himself, or someone drove him to the police station, and he was shirtless, and there was a whole big incident.
Hey, at least he was trying to help himself.
True.
Something, I don't know if I smoked it or if I secondhand smoked it, but there's something going on in here freaking me out. Who do I go to? The people that are supposed to protect and serve, and instead it becomes this national scene. He gets shipped out of New England to come out here in desert on a horse with no name.
You're exactly right.
It's a wild scene. Steelers still have a chance to make the playoffs. Is that right?
Yeah, so they need to either win and have the Titans lose, or they can lose, the Titans can lose, and the Colts can win, and they're in.
Now, didn't you texted me something saying that you thought the Raiders were going to be in the playoffs? Can you explain to me how it's possible that the Raiders, John Gruden, Mike Mayock, this Raiders team that was on one of the most boring seasons of Hard Knocks in history, where they were in vineyards on horses and that rookie guy was just tackling his own teammates and he was being applauded for it, and Antonio Brown had his feet and then he had a hot air balloon and he was out of town. And this team that kind of disappeared now going into week 17 can somehow still make the playoffs. Is this the best coaching job in the NFL that nobody's talking about?
Yeah, a little bit. And also just like the story is incredible because so they're going into week 16. They've lost 4 in a row. They have less than
last week.
Yeah. So they have a less than a 3% chance to make the playoffs. And then last week, everything that they needed to happen happened. The Steelers lost, the Colts won, the Titans lost, the Raiders obviously won, and then the Browns lost. So then they needed 5 more things this week to happen. They need to win against the Broncos. The Steelers need to lose. The Titans need to lose. The Colts need to win again. And then Cleveland needs to beat the Bengals. And the only thing that scares me there is the Titans and Texans, because the Titans are definitely trying. The Texans might not, even though Bill O'Brien said they will. It's probably story of the year if the Raiders sneak into the playoffs when they had less than a 3% chance going into week 16, and they have less than 7% chance going into week 17. But there's a chance.
How many things altogether? 13 things had to happen?
10.
10 things had to happen for them to have a chance going into week 17, and it's all still right in front of them. And that's Gruden's, knock on wood if you're with me, man. That's Gruden's message, by the way. It's like, guys, all hell needs to happen, but it's currently happening. If the Raiders sneak in, we've been making fun of the NFC East. Okay, we've been making fun of the NFC East, saying somebody has to win in the NFC. Somebody has to take the NFC East home, and it looks like it's going to be the Eagles. Could still be the Cowboys, though. Could still be the Cowboys. The Cowboys could still – if the Eagles lose to Danny Dimes and the Giants, who were just playing Flip Cup at a West Virginia bar in New Jersey a couple of days ago. If the Eagles lose to the Giants and the Cowboys beat the Redskins, which is possible, the Cowboys, for all of the slander that they took this week by everybody, could still be in the damn playoffs, which is absolute insanity to me. It's absolutely insane that the Cowboys can still get in. Will they do anything once they get in? Absolutely not, especially in this NFC that is packed to the gills with talent. But the fact that Dak Prescott, his sprained AC joint and his fractured finger, still have a chance of making it in the playoffs is insane to me, because Jason Garrett's all but gone. Now the Raiders need 10 things to happen and they're still in it. I mean, the Titans can still get in. The Steelers can still get in. There's a lot on the line this weekend, including a potential home field throughout the playoffs for the Packers. I mean, this is the best week 17 I've had in a long time, I think. Am I right with that or wrong?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there have been this many games that actually have meaning this late in the season. It is in as long as I can remember.
How about Zito's caption here? What are some good NFL games? Zito kind of mailed it in. He's got a lot on his plate back there, filling in for Foxy and doing his job. I appreciate you, Zito. This Packers game is massive against the Lions. The Lions last year, week 17 in Lambeau, won 31-0 in a thriller where Aaron Rodgers got hurt in the second play of the game. Will the Lions play spoiler to the Packers potentially having home field advantage? I'm not sure. Will the Seattle Seahawks at home be able to topple the San Francisco 49ers, who, although have been very impressive this year, have been giving up a lot of points as of late? Will Russell Wilson be able to bounce back after the slaughtering from the Arizona Cardinals last week and hand over the home field advantage to the Green Bay Packers? How about the Saints? Are the Saints going to sign Antonio Brown? Is Antonio Brown going to be a New Orleans Saint? Will the NFL have to investigate this within the next couple of days so that Antonio Brown can get back on the field? How about Marshawn Lynch in Seattle? Is that going to get him over the hurdle? A lot to play for in the NFL week 17.
Pat, I got a question for you, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
So,
Zito, keep the what are some good NFL games this weekend whenever I'm rattling off what the good NFL games are this weekend.
He gave your bottom line justification, and you ruined it. So the Chiefs and Patriots play at the same time. Patriots are currently 2 seed. Chiefs are the 3 seed. were you ever on a team, I assume, and how much do you know, like as a Chief, are you scoreboard watching? It's like if the Patriots go up 21-0 against the Dolphins and you start pulling starters, obviously, I think if you're the Chiefs, like have you been a part of that situation? Do you know going into the weekend what you need, and have you been a part of like the scoreboard watching to pull players?
Oh yeah, the players definitely know. Now we live in a society where everything is known by everybody, right? And there was a lot of times there where people are like, don't read the press clippings, don't do this. There used to be this tunnel vision thought about professional athletes where nothing mattered except for whatever was next. There was no outside noise. You couldn't hear or be distracted by absolutely anything. But now that's just not the way society is. So people know everything. Is that Chiefs game at home or away?
The Chiefs game is at home.
Okay, so at home, you at least have the control of what is being shown up on the Jumbotron or on the scoreboards that are around the stadium. So I was on a team where we had to figure out what was going on with another team for seeding, and we were at an away game, so they wouldn't show the updates until like maybe once a half or something like that. Let's assume that the Chiefs scoreboard and stadium operators will have that up at all times so that Andy Reid can make educated decisions on things, because a win there is massive, especially if it looks like the Patriots are potentially in trouble, which has happened against the Dolphins in the past. And with this Patriots team, although the offense came together last week and they looked like they were able to do whatever, whenever against the Buffalo Bills defense, which is very, very good, maybe they struggle against the Dolphins, and maybe the Chiefs scoreboard operators, stadium operations lets the world know that in there. So at the home of the Chiefs, they can get a little bit more juice in there. I have been a part of something like that on both sides, where the other team needed something to happen and where we needed something to happen. It is something that is very real, and it's something that can energize an entire stadium, to be honest with you. Watch the Patriots struggle just a little bit early. They'll run that in the Chiefs stadium. That place will be electric, as it always is, but that is something that you can definitely use, and scoreboard watching is something that definitely happens.
Selfish betting angle here. Teams that have nothing to play for versus teams that do still have something to play for. How much do these teams at Week 17 just want to get out of there?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously some people that have already checked out, and most of those are the veterans who know that their contracts are already done. So if you look at teams that are veteran-filled with a lot of rich guys who are potentially already done, I mean, I think it plays a much bigger role than the teams that are younger. And whenever they say don't have anything to play for, those guys are still trying to be rich.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys are still trying to have jobs. Those guys are still getting an opportunity to get on a field. So I think it very much situations are situational. That's a real thing. But I think the thought of a team having to win versus a team like wanting to win is a very different situation. I think sometimes, by the way, the teams that have to win can be a little bit tighter than the teams that just, got nothing to play for. They're a little bit looser. So they're willing to do things. They're willing to go for things a little bit differently, as opposed to the teams that are maybe a little bit more uptight. I think it depends. I think situations are all situational. I like the 10-game parlay that you mentioned earlier about the 10 teams that are trying versus 10 teams that are not. Very intriguing to me. Very interesting to me. I'll throw it because it's plus 3,000. I'll throw some money down. But it rarely works out that way, because sometimes whenever you have to win, it changes what you do, because you can get a little bit tighter as well.
Yeah, I mean, one of these teams are going to ruin it. I mean, the Redskins will probably beat the Cowboys for some reason.
Hey, the Redskins the last 4 or 5 weeks have looked like a pretty good football team. And I don't know what they're going to do with that Callahan guy, the coach now, because I'm an American man.
American parts.
For the American man, because that's what I am. Is that what's his name? Callahan, right?
Yeah,
that guy's name's Callahan?
Big time Callahan.
The Callahan guy has done well for them. They've become a team that was terrible and has all of a sudden become something that is competitive. I think Dwayne Haskins has something too. Now, this offseason is going to be big for Dwayne. I mean, he's young. He's got money. This is his first time off in his whole entire life, probably. I'll never forget going into my rookie offseason after we lose the Super Bowl to Drew Brees and his dumb baby. That's my first time in my entire life where I had any off time. No structure, no nothing. Just be back for OTAs around May. I had from February to May to do whatever the hell I wanted with 6 figures in my bank account. I mean, I had a blast. I would assume a lot of guys do that as well. I think that's why a lot of guys go broke after their first year. But I'll be excited to see where Dwayne Haskins goes from this year to next year. I'll be excited to see where Kyler Murray goes from this year to next year. And I'll be excited to watch these guys and see what they could do, because they're both on very good, potentially good teams. And let alone Duck Hodges, what Duck Hodges is going to do from now until next year. I think that Redskins team could potentially be good, especially in an NFC East that's going to be rebuilding in Dallas. The Giants are still trying to figure out. They potentially have a new head coach. The Eagles are so hurt, so maybe you think it healthy, they're going to be good. But that Redskins team potentially has a shot in the future. Big yawn, man. I had to wake up like 6 a.m. out here.
Oh, yeah, I mean, the show started at 7 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah, it's very early out here, man. And I'm going eye to eye right now with 757s, on a very regular basis here. These planes are just flying by our hotel staring at me. Now, Foxy's room is obviously 2 stories above mine. I mean, Foxy always is in the high rise. He's in the suite. But these planes are just flying right by the hotel thing here. I'm kind of freaked out.
Have you guys seen more Clemson or more Ohio State fans out there?
A lot of Ohio State fans, obviously, but the Clemson fans also showed up. Last night in the airport, miserable. Absolutely miserable airport experience here last night. I think we traveled on the 26th of December, which is probably a nightmare for everybody. Took 45 minutes to get our bags from the baggage claim. There were dogs everywhere. People are traveling with dogs at a rapid rate right now. I mean, you should have took Big Walt and just put his ass in the cargo. I think it doesn't even have to be a service dog anymore. There's dogs everywhere. A lot of Ohio State fans, though. And we all know that Ohio State is like a cult because they've been so good for so long. But I think these Clemson fans are going to show up, too. I saw patches of orange kind of scattered throughout there. I think the Fiesta Bowl is going to be a good time. Let's talk about the college football playoff, shall we? Joe Burrow continues to be an absolute stud. It doesn't matter what he's doing. If he's playing in a basketball challenge and you have the lead, he's going to get the rock in his hands. He's going to go 10 of 12, should have won 12 of 12. People are talking about how that rim had such a good bounce. Nah, those things are bouncing straight up and then in. That's actually a bad bounce that Joe Burrow just made good. Joe Burrow, I understand that everybody's trying to sell Oklahoma right now because you have to sell it to sell a fight. You have to promote the underdog to make it sound better. Let's assume that LSU wins by potentially 50 there. No offense to the Big 12 or to Oklahoma. You're just running into a buzzsaw Burrow, and there's nothing you could absolutely do about it. Now, in this Ohio State-Clemson game, a lot of people are talking about Ohio State having no shot. A lot of people are saying this Ohio State team, since they struggled in the Big Ten championship game, since they struggled for momentarily against Penn State, they've had more struggles than this Clemson team, who hasn't struggled since North Carolina in September. Everybody's assuming that Clemson's just going to boat race this Ohio State Buckeye team. I don't think that's accurate. They're going to have to triple team Chase Young if they want to stop him from getting to Trevor Lawrence on their offensive side of the ball. And Justin Fields is a guy who's been more efficient than anybody in the entire college football. I think we got a couple good games. I think LSU wins by a lot, but I think this Ohio State Clemson game is going to be a lot closer than people are thinking.
Yeah, I think the thing with Clemson and Ohio State is that Justin Fields came out earlier in the week and said that he's 80 to 85% with his knee. And then 2 days later said that he was not allowed to talk about it anymore. Part of me thinks that he came out and said 80, 85% as a lie to make Clemson think that he wouldn't run as much. Or he could be telling the truth, and I have no idea. But that's going to be a big thing to watch in the game.
Hold on. I didn't hear that. So he came out and said, well, it turns out I'm actually not allowed to talk about that?
Pretty much. He said that he will not be talking about his knee anymore.
What 80 to 85%? Everybody's 80 to 85%. It's the end of the season.
I agree.
I wake up in the morning. I operate about 75% as soon as I get out of bed.
Nick, you've been through some stuff too.
Yeah.
Not enough people talk about that. I don't. Justin Fields got hurt on his knee, and he came back and threw one of the prettiest balls I've ever seen. So I don't know. I would assume that's Ohio State people just saying, like, I don't know. Sometimes these colleges can get a little handsy on what people are allowed to talk about, not allowed to talk about. Take it easy.
Doesn't it stand to reason, too, that he would be healthier now than he probably has been since, like, the start of the season because he just got a month off?
Let's assume, unless you're a quarterback and getting punched in the face and you can't play. Where'd that happen at?
The game last night?
Mississippi State.
Oh,
yeah, Mississippi State.
Mississippi State quarterback got into an altercation with a defensive player on the field that carried in the locker room, got punched in his face. Orbital been big. Tommy Stevens back in, freshman quarterback out. That's insane. That's just like when Geno Smith got punched in the face. I was like, you're not allowed to touch the quarterback. You're barely allowed to look at the quarterback. I don't know how some of these places have people punching a quarterback. That's wild to me. I've never seen anything like it.
It was like their stud defensive player, too. I think he's a linebacker, maybe a DN, Willie Gay. I remember him when you were calling the game. He was making all kinds of plays. He was a monster. And to have, like, the best guy in your defense just walk up and sock the quarterback in the mouth, something had to be going on.
Stole his girl.
Well, I like the fact that stole his girl. I doubt that. I like the thought of them getting into it in practice. and then it carrying into the locker room and then punching him in the face, because that's where you need a good locker room guy, by the way. I took a lot of pride in that. I took a lot of pride whenever people were fighting on the field to make it as uncomfortable as possible in the locker room so it would die down. You know what I mean? I took a lot of pride in that. But you got a lot of super competitive humans going after each other. I just always assumed the quarterback was a little bit different. I don't know. We got to get to a break. Did you know this time of year is the number? Imagine if Joe Burrow gets punched in the face. Like, that's not going to happen.
Couldn't happen.
Never.
Nope.
Can't happen. That's the difference, by the way. That's the difference in franchises and organizations that are going to go. Like, your quarterback is your team. We all know that. Everybody knows that. Salary cap in the NFL is the quarterback. In college, you go as your quarterback goes. I mean, it's just the Steelers right now, they don't have a quarterback. You have two quarterbacks. It means you have no quarterbacks. That's why they're not going. Like, the quarterback is just protected. That's what they're coddled. They're protected. They're all these things. And whenever you hear a story about a starting quarterback getting punched in the face, you have to question everything that's going on down.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like this ever happens to good teams. Like teams with like good elite quarterbacks, you never hear this stuff happening.
Mississippi State, the Egg Bowl champion.
That's a good point. My apologies. That's a great point.
Did you know this time of year is the number one time to get engaged?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so if you're in love and ready to get engaged, go see our friend Steven Singer, the I Hate Steven Singer guy. You've been hearing us talk about him for weeks, and you might have seen his billboards if you're in Philadelphia. I hate Steven Singer. Other jewelers love to hate Steven. Why? Because Steven makes buying a diamond easy. No negotiating, no haggling, no nonsense, and no BS. Just one perfect price every day. And he has the best quality, best diamonds anywhere. Check out Steven's Ready for Love Diamond Engagement Ring Collection that is ready to go. Each diamond is hand-selected and picked by his real expert jewelers. No one selling online or anywhere else for that matter does it better than Steven Singer Jewelers. He takes no-risk shopping to the next level in his full 100-day, 100% back, 100% money-back guarantee, and fast and free shipping both ways. Whether your budget is $500 or $5,000, Steven has the perfect engagement ring for you at the perfect price. Visit the real Steven Singer at the other corner of 8th and Walnut in Philadelphia or online at IHateStevenSinger.com with free shipping. Real diamonds, real experts, real jewelers, Steven Singer Jewelers. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Shout out to Steven Singer. We'll be back on the other side. By the way, this is the last Feel Good Friday of the decade.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's a long time.
We're in 20s, baby.
I feel good. Let's celebrate in beautiful fashion. Notable news on the other side. Flashback Friday on the other side. Little NBA talk and potentially a phone call if we can figure out the technology. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show.
Ten years ago, I had an undiagnosed heart condition, and erectile dysfunction was actually the first sign that something was wrong.
Luckily, I'm a doctor, an expert in sexual health, and Zach's dad.
Not everyone has a doctor in the house, and some health conditions can be really tough to talk about. We started Roman to change that.
Now you can go online and chat with a physician.
And if treatment is right for you, we'll ship genuine medication right to your door. If you're experiencing ED, hair loss, cold sores, or other issues, let's take care of it.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here. December 27th, 2019. I believe we're going to try to get to some phone calls here. Todd, how do we feel about the chances of this working?
I feel pretty good about it. I say I'm 79%.
How much?
79%, which is pretty good. It's a B.
Hey, that's almost as good as Justin Fields' knee. Let's go with Nicholas, who's 15 years old, calling from Delray Beach, Florida. Nicholas, what's up, pal?
Hey, Pat.
Hey, Nicholas, what's going on, buddy?
So, I was wondering, do you think the Dolphins can upset the Patriots this week in Foxborough?
Nicholas, what's going on? You're 15 years old. What year is that in high school?
I'm a sophomore.
That a boy. And you're off all week and then next week as well?
Yes.
What is your favorite subject in school?
Lunch.
Nicholas, get your life together. Nicholas, I don't need you saying you like lunch, okay? You need to be good at the math. You need to be good at the Englishin. You need to be good at the things that are going to make you better. But also, by the way, lunch not bad. Good social hour, maybe networking. Maybe I shouldn't have hung up there on Nicholas. I don't know if the Dolphins are going to be able to beat the Patriots. Is that in Foxborough or is that in Miami?
Foxborough. No chance. Come on. I mean, what are we talking about? There's no chance they can beat us in Foxborough. No way.
What about cover the 16?
16's a lot. 16's a lot.
It's almost like Vegas saw the same thing we saw that last week against the Buffalo Bills defense, which is very good. That offense was able to move a little bit. And Vegas was finally like, all right, they're back finally. Their offense is back. Let's go ahead and give them 16 points against the Dolphins. Let's assume they bury Brian Flores, who was in that building for a long time, who could potentially have some inside information on how things work at Foxborough, whether it's technical difficulties or things along that nature. But I think the Patriots get a massive win. And by the way, are the Patriots peaking at the right time? All year, there's another plane right there. I mean, this plane. All year, the Patriots offense hadn't been able to do anything. Then last week, against a very stingy Bills defense, they were able to do it. Are the Patriots yet again, with Super Bowl being played on Groundhog Day, are the Patriots yet again peaking and about to shove it right down everybody's throat? Boy, it really feels like it.
Feels good, too. Love to see it.
No, I bet you do, Connor. I bet you do. Connor, how many years have you been on this earth?
I've been on this earth for 24 years, somehow.
Happy birthday.
And how many years have the Patriots been good now? Is this 20 years are going on?
I think this is the 21st year that they've been good. It's been a hell of a life.
It'd be so hard not to be a prick if I was you.
No, it's a good time, actually, surprisingly.
Yeah, and I mean, the Red Sox kind of fell off. They were good there for a while, though. And now you got Brad Stevens and Taco up there with the Celtics. It's great to be a Boston fan. Good for you guys.
And the Bruins apparently are pretty good, right, Nick?
Yeah, probably the top to bottom, probably the best team in the league this year.
The Bruins?
Yeah.
Deep team.
And
Very
that's
good.
hockey talk.
There you go.
Hey, look at us for hockey talk.
Yeah, we did it.
Not a bad call there from Nicholas. You know what? The more and more I think about lunch being his favorite, the more and more I think I like the kid because that's really where all the things get done.
Oh yeah,
lunch is where everything gets done. It's where you're networking. It's where you're socializing. Sometimes you got to cut them for Mexican Pizza Wednesday. I mean, there's a lot of moving and grooving that happens at lunch. I respect that a lot.
Is that where you saw all your cigs at?
No, I used to sell my cigs outside the classrooms in school. It was 5th grade, by the way. I mean, there was no Mexican pizza in 5th grade. That was not until high school, which was Wednesdays were the best day in the history of Plum High School, strictly because Mexican lunch was the best. They had these Mexican pizzas. It probably cost about 35 cents to make. It's on cardboard, little octagon cardboard piece, and it was so delicious, so damn good. People would sprint to lunch for these things. Plus nachos with cheese. I mean, it was just... it was the best. But my cigarette operation was one where I'd meet up anywhere. You know, I'd bring the bag. You got the goods. I bring the goods. Let's keep it moving.
People would literally stand like at the edge of their classroom waiting for the bell to ring on Wednesdays and then 4-2 down the hallways to get in line first for Mexican pizza.
I saw some pigs that hadn't done much in a long time pull some hamstrings trying to get down there for Mexican pizza. I did. I saw dudes just getting sniped from the library. Bang! Down goes pig. But it was worth it. I mean, it was damn good. Shout out to Nicholas. Let's go to Nick in Pleasant Hill, Iowa. Where's that at?
I believe it's near Des Moines.
Is that near you or no?
Nah, it's about 2 hours away from me.
Nick, what's up, pal?
I was just wondering to see what you think about the NCAA hitting a bowl ban on Missouri.
Hey, can we play that breaking news thing? What happened, Nick? Tell us what happened.
Well,
what happened, Nick?
Well, if you see it, Matt. So, about 8 years ago, a tutor did some homework for about, I think, 8 student athletes. And, we did an investigation. We turned ourselves into NCAA. And, just now the NCAA is hitting us with the bowl ban, sanctions, and restricting our scholarships.
For something that happened 8 years ago?
Yeah, I believe so. It was quite a while ago.
Well, I don't know if Nick. By the way, I don't know if Nick is trolling us or completely accurate. If that's the case, this is another situation of the NCAA doing things that nobody cares. Nobody cares about what happened 8 years ago at Missouri. A tutor did somebody's homework. A tutor did something 8 years. Who cares? Those dumb kids that couldn't do their own homework, they're already off ruining their own lives. They're already gone. Why you got to ruin the kids that are currently in school now? Now, I understand that without rules, there's chaos. I understand that they have to take a stand whenever things like this happen. But what does a bowl ban to kids in 2019 have anything to do with something that happened 8 years ago? It doesn't make any sense. Now, Nick might be completely wrong. I have no idea if what he's telling is accurate or not. I'm sure somebody in the room has Googled it already.
Yep.
But that just sounds like a bunch of malarkey to me. And the NCAA, once again, doing something that just doesn't make any sense. Like, if you do the crime, you got to do the time. But the people that you're punishing, what were they, 10 years old when this all happened? That doesn't make much sense. Diggs, what happened?
So the decision for the ban was made about a year ago, and it was for this season that they just played. And then November 26th, they appealed the bowl ban so they could be in a bowl this year, and the bowl ban was upheld. But it's just for this season. I mean, I think the caller was a little, I don't know.
Dramatic?
I can respect that. So's the NCAA.
True.
All right, let's hit another phone call here before we got to get to a break. Let's go to Jake in Nebraska.
Yo, what's poppin'? Spicy P. Pat McAfee, what's going on?
What's poppin', dude?
All right. Well, I want to get your take on one of the greatest.
What's poppin', bro?
All right, nothing much, man. I just want
to pow, 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 pop, pop, poppin', pop.
All right. I just want to get your
Love
take
popcorn,
on what.
by the way.
That's so good.
I hate
Some
pop
white
quizzes.
cheddar.
Oh my God! You know, I'm a salt guy on my popcorn. By the way, we went to the movie theater to see Uncut Gem. It's always difficult to balance the salt dump on top and then the shake to get the salt down without it popping off.
Me too, yeah.
Pop.
What's popping, Jake?
Oh, nothing much, man. I just want to get your take on the greatest.
Jake, what's going on, man?
Jake, what's popping, dude?
All right, nothing much. I just wanted to get your opinion on the greatest XFL franchise of all time, the St. Louis Battlehawks, led by star Nebraska wide receiver De'Mornay Pierce-Snell, future Michael Jordan of the XFL, and the second best punt celebrator of all time, Marquette King. What's your opinion on them coming into this first season?
I'm very happy that Marquette has gotten a shot in the XFL, by the way, to prove himself. Hopefully get him back in the NFL if he wants to. If he doesn't want to leave the incredible Battlehawks, I'll respect that as well. I don't know anything about these teams. I know that Ty is very high on the DC Defenders.
Yeah, all roads lead through DC. Everyone knows it. I mean, the Battlehawks stink. They don't stand a chance. Come to Audi Field and see if you're going to get a win.
I'll say this: the Battlehawks ball is much nicer than the Defenders ball that we have at the office.
It is. That's about all that franchise has going for him right now.
Now, the Battlehawks have given us 0 coaches, 0 GMs, 0 anything for our show. The DC Defenders, Pep Hamilton, came on the show. He is the head coach and the GM and owner of that team. I think he came on the show. So it's hard not to like them more than the Battlehawks, but the Battlehawks ball is very, very nice. I'm excited to see how the XFL works out, by the way. I have no idea how it's going to do. I think there's a chance it survives because I think it has some smart people running it up there. I think Oliver Luck has done well everywhere he's gone business-wise. I think Vince McMahon, obviously, aside from the first XFL, which was not supposed to be on television, it was just supposed to be a live event thing that Ebersol forced onto television, which was ultimately its demise. I think the XFL has a chance to survive. I just have no idea how the football is going to be. If it's anything like the AAFL, that football is going to be terrible, and I think people will be tough to watch.
We also had the DC Defenders quarterback Cardale Jones on the show, who told us he could throw an NFL football 80 yards. I'm guessing he's going to be able to throw that XFL football like 175 yards. So he might throw for 16,000 yards this year.
Bingo. Bingo.
I mean, the Houston Roughnecks are by far the favorite.
Okay, Tony. Okay, Tony.
Not a bad name there, by the way. We got to get to one final break, I think, for the final Friday, Feel Good Friday of the decade. Am I right with that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Did you know this time of year is the number one time to get engaged?
So I've heard.
So if you're in love and ready to get engaged, go see my friend Steven Singer, the I Hate Steven Singer guy. You've been hearing us talk about him for weeks, and you might have seen his billboards in Philadelphia. I Hate Steven Singer. Other jewelers love to hate Steven. Why? Because Steven makes buying a diamond easy. No negotiating, no haggling, no nonsense, no BS. You know, other places always have a sale that's ending today.
Huh.
What?
It's not like that with Steven Singer. They always do. Steven makes buying a diamond easy. Just one perfect price every single day, and he has the best quality diamonds anywhere. Check out Steven's Ready for Love diamond engagement ring collection that is ready to go. Each diamond is hand-selected and picked by his real expert jewelers. No one selling online or anywhere else for that matter does it better than Steven Singer Jewelers. He takes no-risk shopping to the next level with his full 100-day, 100% money-back guarantee and fast and free shipping both ways. Whether your budget is $500 or $5,000, Steven has the perfect engagement ring for you at the perfect price. Visit the real Steven Singer at the other corner of 8th and Walnut in Philadelphia or online at IHateStevenSinger.com with free shipping. Real diamonds, real experts, real jewelers, Steven Singer Jewelers. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. All right, we'll be back on the other side. You listen to the Pat McAfee Show.
At some point in their life, 52% of all men will experience erectile dysfunction, but most of them never get treated. Now there's Roman, the digital health clinic for men. With Roman, you can get genuine medication prescribed by a U.S. licensed physician, all from the comfort of your home. If medication is right for you, Roman delivers it with free 2-day shipping and in discreet packaging. Get started with a free online visit today at GetRoman.com/TV. Roman, let's take care of it. Did you?
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. I was just watching that clip, laughing pretty hard. This is the dumbest show of all time. But people are asking questions. Time for a new segment. People are asking. Ty Schmidt, take it away.
So people are asking, Pat started this last night, and it actually started trending either worldwide or in the U.S. within about 17 minutes. So we got quite a few questions.
Hey, good for us. That's awesome.
So the first one comes from Hammer the Over, and he wants to know, he says, what can we expect in 2020? We know the old McAfee brain gets bored easily. # people are asking.
I'll tell you what, that person knows me. that person knows me. I think in 2020 this show is going to grow. I think it's going to get bigger. I think we might have a new home at some point, or new homes at some point. I think we're going to dive into a much more I don't know what I'm allowed to say. It's going to get bigger. Just know we're going to get bigger, or we're going to go crashing down. It's going to be one or the other. We're either going to Mars, or we're going to the bottom of the ocean where those weird animals live that we know more about than we know about space. It's one or the other. But we have a lot of things planned. Potentially, with the Accountability Buddies program that Zito and I have, maybe some athletics happening in 2020. Maybe some athletics. That'll be the little teaser there. That'll be a little teaser. If Zito and I can stay in shape, that'll be good. Big thanks to all the people that used # people are asking. We started trending in 17 minutes. Is that what you said, Ty?
17 minutes.
Hey, man, the people that follow along are awesome. Whenever Zito and I were giving out that money, it was awesome to watch everybody kind of chime in. It was really cool. We're very, very lucky. I think that is something that I've realized more and more every single day, especially with the last couple of days being off and thinking about everything. Very, very lucky and thankful for everybody that listens and follows along. Thank you for the people that are asking something. Nick, we have any notable news left that we did not hit?
Yeah, there's a few things here. Let's get to North Korea has not yet followed through on its ominous warning of a Christmas gift, but that doesn't mean the rogue regime's threat is not real. Former CIA officer Brian Dean Wright says we have to remember this is a neurotic kid who is the head of a nuclear-armed state, so the threat is always real.
This guy can't do nothing. We all know it. We've been ahead of the Jim Kong deal before the Jim Kong deal was the Jim Kong deal. This guy's the biggest troll in the history of Earth. Whenever he said he was going to give out a Christmas gift, we all knew what that meant. More missiles into the Sea of Japan. That's all that means. That poor guy can't get a missile past the Sea of Japan for his life. The fact that we even think about this guy, so he said he shot an 18 golfing. This guy said he shot an 18 golfing, 18 holes. This is the human we're dealing with. I'm happy the world's starting to wake up to this guy. He's just a big fraud, big joke, big troll.
What do you call his missiles?
I don't.
Dongs. He called it dongs. Dong missiles. Hey, really, that's a real thing.
Did he really?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't lie to you.
All right. Well, we got like a minute left of this show. Last Feel Good Friday of the decade. I feel good because I get a chance to work with great humans every single day. I feel good because I have a fiance that handles my life in a beautiful fashion. I feel good because the people that listen and follow along with us are the greatest humans on earth. I feel good because this is a Friday and I'm about to nap before the Cheez-It Bowl goes on at 10:30 tonight Eastern Standard Time on ESPN.
Oh, an early one.
Bro, it's a lot of people think I'm calling the game. I am not. I'm just sitting in a box with a bunch of random sweepstakes winners having the time of my life. That should be intriguing. What do you guys got this week? Anything awesome?
Parents are coming in town for Christmas.
Oh.
And then we'll go out and watch some playoffs, college football playoffs.
Heads up, Indiana. The Italians are about to triple this weekend because of the DeGilio family's coming out here. Very, very thankful for everybody that chose to listen. Shout out to the DeGilios. The NFL weekend is going to be electric. College football playoffs tomorrow. Game day tomorrow morning. I believe I'll be on.
Let's go. Hey.
Gonna have to watch all 3 hours though. I pop in and pop out of there pretty quickly. Pop. We can't thank you enough. You're the absolute greatest for listening and watching this show. Have the best weekend of your entire life. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. We'll see you on Monday. This has been the Pat McAfee Show from Arizona.